Hi, welcome to Omi's Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious strawberry torte, or Obst Torte, which is how you say it in German. I'm going to show you step by step the different steps you have to go through. We're going to make it from scratch, from the bottom to the top. So here it is. We're going to get started, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Today we're going to be making a Obst Torte, which is a fruit torte, and we're going to be using strawberries today. And so I'd like to go over all the ingredients and let you know what we'll be needing. We're going to need 2 eggs. We're going to need some baking powder. We're going to need a cup of flour, a half a cup of sugar, a half a stick of butter, 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk. And over here is the prep for the fruit. So overnight, I sugared some strawberries and left them overnight to render some of the juice. So overnight I got about a half a cup of juice. You need about 2 cups of juice. So I ended up having to add some cranberry juice to it because we're going to be using the juice with these little packets, which are like the glaze that goes over the strawberries to keep the strawberries in place. And I'll show you how to do that also. And over here in the corner we have the pan that we're going to use. And we have a tablespoon of Crisco, which I'm going to melt and grease this pan really, really good. And I'll show you how to do that too, because there's a specific way you have to do that. Okay, so we're gonna get started with this. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is cream the butter and the sugar together. Now we're going to add 1 egg at a time. Now we're going to add the baking powder, which was 1 teaspoon, by the way. 1 cup of flour. And your milk, which was 3 tablespoons of milk. Okay, so here's our dough for the bottom of the torte. And we're gonna put this in a flan pan, and then we're gonna bake it at 350, but I'm gonna show you how exactly to grease the pan and stuff, because you have to make sure you get into all the little crevices and stuff. So we're gonna do that right now. I have taken the 1 tablespoon of Crisco and put it in a pan, and I'm gonna wait for it to melt. And once it melts, I'm gonna put it in the pan and grease the pan up really good so that we can put the bottom in it and then put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, now we're going to grease this pan. I'm going to pour the Crisco in here that I've melted. Okay. And now I'm gonna take a brush like this, and you're gonna like spread it all around. The important parts are these grooves right here, because the dough is gonna go into these grooves, and if you don't have them greased well, what will happen is your cake will get stuck, and then it'll be stuck in the pan and it'll cause breakage, and you don't want that. And so we're gonna grease this really well, and we're gonna do each like individually. Our oven is preheated, so it will be all ready to go when we get this done and get the dough in here. And this is going to make the bottom of the torte. And then you're going to put beautiful strawberries on the top and then glaze it, and it's going to be beautiful. All right, now that we've done this part, I'm going to get the dough in here and we're going to continue on with the next step. Okay, now we're going to put our dough in here. You can just spread this around evenly and get it for sure into all the corners. This it looks like it's going to be really, really sugary and sweet and stuff like that, but when you taste this cake, it's really not sweet at all. It's like kind of refreshing because it has those fresh strawberries, or you could put blueberries or kiwis or whatever kind of fruit like your family likes or that you like. You can put any kind of fruit on there. I'm just trying to get it even all the way around. And then we're going to put it in the oven. And in 20 minutes, we're going to have the bottom for our strawberry cake. All right, so here's the dough in the pan. And we're going to put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And I'll see you in 20 to 25 minutes when we take it out of the oven. Do with that. Okay. So here's the bottom of it. We're going to take it out. And then we are going to flip this thing around. Like that. A knife to get up under there. You see? This is what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to put the strawberries on here and then put the glaze on top of here, but we're going to let it cool for like 20 minutes so it's nice and cool, and then we're going to place the strawberries on it. Okay, now it's time to put the strawberries on top of your cake. So we're going to make a little pattern here, and we're going to fill this up with strawberries, and it doesn't matter what kind of pattern you put on there, just whatever you like. You just fill this up with strawberries in any kind of pattern that you want, and you could also add other fruits in here, like you could put kiwi or apricots or peaches, anything that you really like, and you can put them in the middle or put them around the bottom. It doesn't really matter, just whatever kind of pattern that you like. So, and some of them can be bigger and some of them can be smaller, and that's fine too. And you'll see when it's all done, it's just going to be a beautiful, delicious cake, and you'll be ready to get some coffee and enjoy your cake. This is always a hit. It never lasts very long, so we don't have to keep it that long. It's usually gone that same day, or for sure the next day. There might be a piece or two left over, and people just go ahead and dig in, and yeah, it's a delicious, pretty good cake. And it's a nice summer cake because it's not real heavy or not real super sweet. I don't like real super sweet cakes like with frosting and stuff like that, so this works perfect for me. And just, there's no kind of pattern to this. You can just do whatever you kind of want. If you want them all to be consistent and the same size, that's all up to you. This is what it looks like before the glaze is on it. And now we're going to step over to the stove and make the glaze, and then I'm going to pour the glaze on it and it'll be ready. Now we're going to make the glaze for the top of the cake, and I'm using 2 of these. For that cake, might have gotten away with 1, but I'm going to use 2 because I like to have enough on there. I feel like when I use 1, I'm not getting enough glaze. So I'm going to use 2 packets of the glaze, and I'm putting it in a little bowl because I'm going to stir it up. And here's some of that juice I showed you earlier. I'm just going to pour a little bit in here. And the rest of it's going to go into this pot, and we're going to cook it. It's going to come to a boil. This right here, I'm just going to kind of whisk around. And while you're boiling the glaze, you have to be stirring it continuously and constantly. So make sure that you're aware of that. So we're going to take this glaze, put it in here. I guess it would help if I turn the stove on. And we're going to put it in here. We have the glaze in there. And right here I have a half a cup of sugar, and I'm going to put this in here too to sweeten up the glaze. We're going to put it in here, and like I said, you have to stir constantly while it's cooking, and then you keep stirring it. And the way that you know when this is done, it takes about three to 4 minutes. The color will change. It will come from this sort of pink color, and it will become like a darker red. And they also have clear glaze, so if you're using stuff like apricots or peaches or whatever for your cake, you can use that on there and it'll just be clear. But since I'm using red fruit, I decided to use the red glaze. And you can get these packets. It's called Tortenguss by Dr. Edka. And you can get them at Amazon, but you can also sometimes find them in the grocery store in your international section. Sometimes they have them there too. So we're gonna boil this up and wait till it turns nice and red, and then we're just gonna pour it on the cake. It'll be ready to go. We're gonna give it maybe 10 or 15 minutes to harden up on top of the cake, and then we're gonna have a bite. See how it's becoming like a little bit darker in color, but when it starts really, like when it comes to a boil, you once it boils, you do it for like a minute. You leave it on there for a minute, and then you'll feel it too, that it's thickening up, and then you can just take it and pour it on top of your cake. And I just usually take it right out of the, I take the pot over there and just use the pot to put it on there. Some people use a big spoon and just sort of put it over there with a big spoon, but I just use the pot. It's just your preference of how you want to do this. And if you have like a white apricots or peaches that you're using, you can use like a white grape juice if you need that for the juice. Or you could even use a simple sugar, just water and like half a cup of sugar and put it in there. That will work also. And you can even do that with the red too. You can just use the water instead of the juice, like if you didn't get any juice, or you just, so it's really just up to you. Here you can see where it's starting to change color because it's starting to boil and it's starting to get a little bit thicker, and so the color is changing, like it's turning to a darker red. See? And so you let it boil for like a minute, and you keep stirring, whisking, and that's how you know that it's almost ready. You do it for like a minute. You cook it for a minute after it turns this color, and then take it off and put it on top of your cake. See how it's a nice deep red now, and it's thicker. Okay, all right, so this one is ready to go on top of that cake. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to turn it off and put it on top of this cake. You want to do it carefully because you don't want to have it run over the edges of your cake. So, well, there it goes, but that's okay. And you want to make sure that all the strawberries are covered. This is why I use 2 of these, because 2 packets, because I always feel like one isn't enough. And what's going to happen, this is going to harden up and it's going to create a glaze on top of the strawberries, and that way your strawberries are not going to fall off the cake. I didn't mean for it to go like that, but okay. So I'm just going to let it cool off now, and then we'll have some cake. Look at this delicious strawberry torte, the piece that I've just cut off. And as always, you get the first bite. And as always, you get the first bite. Whoa. Thank you so much for tuning into another video, and please like, subscribe, and share this video out. Thanks to anyone who has subscribed in the past week, and I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.